Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's Thursday morning, it's an overcast day, it's a unique sort of experience getting off the train here at Circular Quay and coming out into this public space and seeing this magnificent view, which changes dramatically every single day. There are different colours, different movements, different sky patterns, and Sydney is unique and absolutely beautiful in its own way. Anyway, today I want to go through another book summary like we normally do. I've done over 1,200 book summaries or vlogs over the past year and a half. And it's been a wonderful journey, and I thank you for joining me on this episode. And what we'll be doing today is going through a book entitled What is Life by an author known as Erwin Schrodinger. So What is Life is an interesting sort of book. I've got about half an hour to spend, so I'll try and spend the next 15 minutes doing this book, then I'll pop on the train and head off to work. But this book here is an interesting look at life, and from a different sort of perspective to what we're used to. So we'll try and decipher it as best as I can. Once again, these sorts of books are not all that easy to understand and to describe, but I'll do my very best. So the author here kicks off the book with a quote where he says in clear terms that consciousness, the thing that makes us human, I guess, cannot be accounted for in a physical way, in physical terms, for consciousness is absolutely fundamental. It cannot be accounted for in terms of anything else. So what makes us special as a human species is that we have a thing called consciousness, an ability to think, an ability to, I guess, interpret things in different ways. So the author kicks off the book with his first point, with his first formal point, where he talks about the physicality of creation, and he says that everything that we can see, everything that we can touch, everything that we can feel, that we can smell, and I guess everything that we can even hear, I guess, is a function of atoms. So atoms make up everything, and atoms define our world, and they are a function, and they function in a remarkable way. So everything is made up of atoms. As we said, everything that we can touch, everything that we can see is an expression of atoms. And each tiny atom is irrelevant when you look at it one by one. Just like, humanity, as individuals, I guess we have a certain relevance, but what the author says here is that atoms at a singular level are not all that relevant, not all that significant. But when you group them together, when you put one atom with another, they come together and they're able to form our world, because atoms, once grouped together in clusters, become molecules, and the molecules start behaving differently to the atoms because they start following rules and behave like groups. A little like how we people are. Individually we're quite different to how we behave and how we react and how we respond and how we are expressed when we're in groups. Because what happens is that the group defines the form of the atoms, and it also defines the purpose of the atoms. And these molecules are the basis of our humanity, because they make our genes and are a part of our physical being, which is quite unique, quite special, and quite beautiful. So the second point that the author makes in this esoteric sort of writing and work, which is taking us on a bit of a tangent and a journey which we wouldn't normally take on a daily basis. And he then talks about how evolution happens, and it may not be from a Christian perspective, but this is more from a scientific perspective. And he says that our evolution in time is based on quantum leaps that mutate the body in a positive way. I guess we've all come across mutations when we talk about the recent pandemic, where we have COVID-19 going through variants, and we're currently at the Omicron variant. And what the author here suggests is that the changes which are positive are the ones which continue to grow and make differences to the world. Because when it's all said and done, a virus, it's not in the best interest of a virus to kill off its host. It needs to keep on varying so that it keeps the host alive. So the mutations need to happen in a positive way in order for the virus, for the mutation to continue its life and to continue to grow and develop in a way that's going to ensure its longevity. So this is where the author says that things happen in a quantum way. And I remember years ago speaking to an uncle of mine, Mr. Angelos Kathriptakis, who has since passed away, but was a brilliant thinker and a wonderful conversationalist. I could sit and talk with Theo Aguilar for days on end, for hours on end, on any topic. And he had an open mind, and he didn't have, whilst he had strong views, he didn't impose those strong views on his audience, which was something which was quite special about him. But what he said once, which I found very profound and very uplifting, he says that we don't age in a linear way. You don't get older every day. He says one morning, surprise, surprise, you will wake up and you will feel and be 70 years of age. But from 30 through to 60 or 70, depending on I guess, your gift, depending on your gift from God, you'll wake up one day and all of a sudden feel and be 70 years of age. But as we said, for 40 years, you'll still be 30 years of age. And he said, and it was quite profound and quite remarkable, that we age in a quantum way. It's a step function. That, you go along, and all of a sudden, the step changes and you're at a different level. You're at a different stage of your life. And the author in this book basically said that the Darwin Theory has been proven wrong, because we don't change in small incremental steps in an accidental way. Indeed, change is accidental and quite random, and it happens quite rarely. But according to this author, all of the changes that happen in our lives happen in a dramatic quantum way, where we have a new configuration come about all of a sudden, and we don't quite know how that new configuration came about, but we learn to live with it, we learn to work with it, and we learn to adapt to it and surf it. So the last formal point to come out of this book, this wonderful book from this author, is that consciousness is a remarkable trait of humans, and it functions separately from our sensations. You know, our consciousness and our feelings are two very different things according to this author. And it's only humans who have consciousness, and it's something that elevates us to a level which is above all others, all other partners in creation. Because what we have, what our consciousness allows us to experience and enjoy, is that we can have stimuli or stimuluses in our lives, things that happen, and instead of like animals that we just react instinctively to that stimulus, as humans we have the gift of thought, where we can think about what's happened and respond to it rather than react to it. We can respond to the stimulus in a way that's going to benefit us and to benefit and create our future, rather than to just do it without any thought and not knowing the outcomes that it's going to deliver, and ability for us to mull over the first, second and third level consequences. So as humans, we have an ability to think and to consider how it may impact us, how it may impact our environment, and how it may impact others in our lives, directly and indirectly. So we still have, like animals, our involuntary processes that are managed by our instinctive processes, like our breathing, our blinking of our eyes, our bodily functions. But we also have the ability to actively think, where we can interact with each other and our environment in a positive way, and to be able to use our resourcefulness and to constantly elevate ourselves. Hey Toga, how you going, mate? Happy New Year. Stay safe. Ciao, mate. I'll get on this train. Just going to the airport? No.
Please mind the gap between the train.
I'll catch you later. I was just speaking to my friend Toga that I've worked with on a couple of projects. He's a lovely guy. Anyway, I think I'll call it a day here. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where we've been able to go through and do a very, very advanced and esoteric style of book entitled What is Life by Erwin Schrodinger. And I look forward to coming to you again from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we can learn something new, something different, to help us enhance our lives, to help us incorporate these new learnings in our skill set, in our toolkit of mind maps, and to have it operating at our subconscious level to once again make us better versions of ourselves. Anyway, thank you very much for being part of this episode of Jim's 5am Club, and I look forward to chatting again soon and covering off on another book summary, and not knowing what it will be, but it will certainly, most certainly, take us somewhere and allow us to be better, bigger and more enhanced versions of ourselves. Take care everybody, yassas, and bye for now, and happy Thursday to everybody. Ciao.